Heavy rain, strong winds, landslides.
The government and the national government said that they have allocated a relocation.
The people have been evacuated. The cost of the northern Philippines next week, there may be more damage on its way.
The Philippines, according to the Citizen Disaster Response Center, was ranked first worldwide with the most number of disasters that hit a country in 2011. Based on the report, a total of 431 natural and human-induced disasters were reported in the country in 2011. These disasters killed 1,989 people and affected more than 3 million families, or 15.3 million people, and cost over 26 billion pesos in economic damages. Over the years, frequency and severity of global natural disasters are increasing, caused by rapid population growth, unplanned urbanization, environmental degradation, and climate change. Vulnerable communities are at greater risk of losing family members, homes, and livelihood. Data shows that the number of major disasters worldwide is increasing from 46 in the 1960s, 71 in the 1970s, 141 in 1980s, 224 in the 1990s, to 364 in the year 2000. Geographically, Caraga region is exposed to a variety of natural disasters such as floods, earthquakes, landslides, and tsunami. The region sits in the Pacific Ring of Fire, where a large number of earthquakes and volcanic eruptions occur. The Ring of Fire has 452 volcanoes and is home to over 75% of the world's active and dormant volcanoes. Common sources of income came from forest, agriculture, and marine resources exploitation. Mineral extraction is an emerging major industry in the region, with annual production amounting to hundreds of millions of dollars. These activities, though contributing great economic benefits, also brought adverse environmental impact such as landslides, mercury and cyanide poisoning, and forest denudation. It weakens natural protection against calamities. The region, with a population of 2.4 million, is vulnerable to disasters because Caraga is among the poorest regions in the country with a poverty index of 39.8% and per capita income of 16,858 pesos, according to 2009 data of the National Statistical and Coordination Board. In addition to natural hazards, an ongoing conflict in some parts of the region has also displaced hundreds of people. In April 2012, more than 100 indigenous people's families from Agusan del Norte and Surigao del Norte fled from their respective homes and sought refuge in Imadea's Butuan city due to encounters between the Philippine Army and the New People's Army. Disasters often reduce the affected areas into ruins. Depending on strength and coverage, loss of human lives and damage to economic and social assets are tremendous. According to the Office of the Civil Defense, Region 13, 51 calamities occurred in Caraga region from 1999 to March 2012. These disasters resulted to 255 deaths and 5.22 billion pesos damages to agriculture, homes, and infrastructure.
Results to damage to both human and to infrastructure, to agriculture.
Overwhelming evidence shows the occurrence and severity of natural disasters are increasing every 5 years. Floods, landslides, typhoons, storm surges, and continuous rains are quite common in the region. The common denominator of these disasters, whether natural and human-induced, is the phenomenon on climate change. Climate change is a significant and lasting change in the statistical distribution of weather patterns over periods ranging from decades to millions of years. Results of scientific studies and observations show that the Earth is getting warmer. Extreme weather events are becoming frequent and severe. The average glacier thickness is getting lower and the ocean is rising. The Philippines is periodically experiencing El Niño and La Niña phenomena. Both extreme weather disturbances brought drought and flood, damage to agriculture and infrastructure, health risk, and emergence of new strains of diseases. Community members are typically the first people to respond when disaster strikes, and the local government units are mandated to prepare the community for such events.
Pagdating sa tanuan ng Butuan, isunod na mo, proactive siya. Yung pasabot, it's not the municipal first, it's the barangay kung ahanay tabo. Dapat i-implementan nato dito sa barangay na mahibalo sila about Disaster Act 2010. Naghatag kami for emergency response, barangay emergency response, na mahibalag yun ang barangay kung sa'y buhaton nila in case of disaster.
The LGU, being the decision makers and stewards of government funds, are accountable to its constituents in ensuring a disaster-resilient communities. The Department of the Interior and Local Government Caraga Region also commits to capacitate the LGUs.
We are tasked by the national government under this administration na makatuman din nato ang preparedness program o bila siya naging importante. Ito ang dito nato ang pag-anaw ang disaster prevention na po ang
Under the management framework of Republic Act 10121, Vice Chairmanship on Preparedness aspect of the Disaster Risk Reduction Management is lodged under the DILG. The preparedness strategies of the department include strengthening of institutional capacity for disaster preparedness, integration of disaster risk management in local government systems and processes, enhancing compliance and enforcement system policies impacting on disaster risk management, facilitating access to financing, and institutionalized information, education, and communication system.
And lately, we came up with this guide na niya po itawag na talamdan sa pagpangandam kung may katalagman, kalamidad, or pag-usap-usap sa kuma. Eh, atong manggong ituruan niya, yes, pagpangandam sa mga komunidad, mauli ang unhod or maka-mitigate sa effects of disasters.
The highly urbanized city of Butuan, for example, has crafted its own disaster risk reduction management climate change adaptation strategic action plan for calendar year 2012 to 2016. This plan articulates the city's actions before, during, and after a disaster. The city allocated a total of 28,387,922 pesos earmarked for disaster preparedness activities for 5 years. The RRM plan is very important for Butuan City.
Geographically, we are in the lowest end of the long Agusan River, Butuan being the basin, the catchment basin of all the floodwaters. And number two, we thrive on timber industry. So with deforestation, Butuan will suffer. And number four, being located in the fault line, there's also a danger of
Early this year, the DILG has developed a tool to gauge LGU disaster preparedness. This tool measures aspect of disaster preparedness in terms of in-place plans, availability of equipments, and stockpiles. Advocacy, policy championing, and capacity development are needed to advance LGU capability and ensure that the provisions of RA 9729 and RA 10121 are rolled out even at the grassroots level.
It was DILG who spearheaded and supervised the creation of the CDRR MO sa atong city
The local government in Caraga region may take lessons from the experiences of Camotes Island and Cagayan de Oro City on disaster preparedness. Camotes Island was the grand winner of the United Nations Sasakawa Award for Disaster Risk Reduction given during the third Global Platform for Disaster Risk Reduction of the UN International Strategy for Disaster Reduction. The Camotes Island is showing the world how communities can better prepare for disasters through the unique Filipino concept of the Purok system. On the other hand, Cagayan de Oro City and Iligan City were caught unprepared when Typhoon Sendong hit both cities. It resulted to more than 1,295 deaths and several hundreds missing. Damages to homes, infrastructure, and agriculture amounted to 2.06 billion pesos. The lessons learned from Typhoon Sendong in Cagayan de Oro and Iligan cities become an additional impetus for the department to intensify advocacy and efforts on disaster preparedness so that the tragedy in similar magnitude will not happen in Caraga region. The people expect that the government will have effective and well-coordinated response during disasters. In-place short-term and long-range plans will help Filipinos live securely and peacefully despite nature's rampage. Therefore, the challenge for the LGUs is to reduce impact of disasters in the lives of its constituents, regardless of frequency of calamities that may occur. If the communities and local governments are prepared, impacts are decreased and recovery is quick and easy.